Good day, ma'am. How can I help you?
I don't know if I'm at the right place. I'm looking for Teslagistics Data Center.
Yes, ma'am. This is Teslagistics.
Camouflaged by all the trees and stuff, I almost drove past. But then I saw prison fencing and I thought I'd better get buzzed in and asked. The reason I came out here is that we have very important data stored on the server and we want it hosted in a secure place.
Really? How did you hear about us? 'Cause we don't advertise ourselves on radio, TV, or newspaper.
Actually, I work for an agency and our data is really important. We just can't store it anywhere. A friend of mine who works for a bank says that they might have their data in here, but he's not allowed to talk about that because of security.
I see. Well, we're not able to talk about whose data is in here either, but maybe we can help you out. Let me look at your server. Kinda standard stuff, eh? We're gonna have to take out this fan, make sure your hard drive is solid state, but everything else looks fine. We don't usually accept machines this old. Would you be open to transferring your data onto a superior machine as part of our service? This one you have here is probably close to the end of its life.
Remove the fan, change the hard drive, old machine? My gosh, we just implemented this server 3 years ago. This sounds fishy.
No ma'am, nothing's fishy. I mean, we do submerge our servers in liquid, but I can assure you, nothing's fishy.
Hold the phone, young man. Did I hear you right? Did you just say submerge the server?
Yes ma'am, you heard me right. Liquid transfers heat more than 1,200 times better than air, so we dunk our servers.
I'm sorry, but are you taking me for a fool? First you want to take out the fan.
Yep.
Then you want to change the hard drives.
That's right. Or better yet, just transfer your data onto a better machine.
And now you're telling me you're going to submerge my data in liquid?
Exactly.
Why don't I just go get a match and set my server on fire, because without a fan and submerging it into liquid, all you're going to do is send sparks flying all over the place and fry my data. I don't know why you were recommended. This sounds crazy.
Ma'am, please don't light a match in here. Our fire suppression system will kick in and then we'll only have about 60 seconds to leave the room before we start suffering from a lack of oxygen.
A lack of oxygen? Oh my gosh, what's next? I have to tell you, when I first drove up here, I was already nervous when I saw those trees and grass growing from your roof. Why don't you guys maintain the outside?
Well, yes ma'am. All that growth keeps us naturally protected from the weather and keeps us cooler. Plus, we don't stand out. You'll have a tough time finding our rooftop on Google Earth.
How can this cave in the middle of the woods protect my data better than one of those modern office building data centers in Halifax, Montreal, Toronto, or Vancouver?
As far as those great cities you mentioned, I've been in Toronto and Ottawa and Montreal during mild earthquakes. The West Coast unfortunately gets the shakes too. Out here, I haven't felt any shaking, except when my knees are knocking from the cold. Like today.
To tell you the truth, I'm thinking someone should have blown this place up and started over.
Oh no, ma'am. You see, we're in a former bomb shelter. Blowing this place up would be pretty difficult.
What? Let me get this straight, young man, and stop me when I'm wrong. You let the trees and grass grow on the roof to keep this place cool and shield it from the weather outside. Oh, and the growth also makes it hard to find your place on Google Earth. So good luck getting customers to find you. You want to take my data, put it on a server without a fan, and dunk the server into liquid. To stop any fires, you're going to leave my server in a place and take the oxygen out of the air to the point that a person only has 60 seconds to get out. And all of this is being done in a former bomb shelter. Why didn't you stop me? I must have said something wrong.
Ma'am, I didn't stop you because that's basically it.
I need to sit down. I've got to be missing something. All this is burning me up. My feet were freezing, but now they're toasty. It must be the stress of listening to all this silliness.
Please, ma'am, sit down. The servers are actually keeping your feet warm. Heat we recycle from the servers inside our data center is what powers our radiant floor heating. We reuse all the energy we can. As a matter of fact, our data center runs on less than a quarter of the power than a regular data center uses. That's only one of the benefits of our center.
I gotta see this.
I'll let you watch a video about how the basic system works.
Why can't I just go in there and see for myself?
No ma'am, that is not allowed. We have a lot of important data in there, and we don't let anyone pass those security doors. Someone gets through the first set of doors, there's another set waiting for them. Some of our employees don't even get through those doors. It's a very important part of our security policy. You don't need to go in because I'll manage your data through secured control panels. You see, you can architect your own digital security. If we don't know about your digital security, we can't compromise it. So you do whatever you need to digitally protect yourself. We'll support you as you need, but we don't let anyone compromise our physical security.
Okay, buddy, show me this presentation, because I have to wrap my head around all this information.
Rest assured, ma'am. Everything I'm telling you is how we operate. We're not just another data center. We look at those guys as old school. Even all those new flashy buildings that they keep popping up, cooking all their servers in hot air. It's just waste, 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 waste. And more points of failure. But I don't want to spoil your fun. Watch this.
Here is how the system works. Rack-based servers from virtually any OEM, including HP, Dell, and IBM, are submerged in the CarnoJet's cooling rack filled with a special, non-toxic, dielectric mineral oil called Green Def. The CarnoJet uses Green Def, which has 1,200 times more heat capacity than air. This is what makes the system remarkably energy efficient. Heat produced by the servers is captured by coolant as it circulates freely through the rack. Heated coolant is then removed from the rack via a pump module. The pump module, which is 2N redundant, manages the coolant's flow and temperature with pumps, filters, sensors, and heat exchangers. Heat is removed from the coolant by a water loop connected to a facility water line of virtually any temperature, meaning the CarnoJet can be deployed in any location and climate in the world, with no change in performance. Each CarnoJet rack supports up to 55 U and as much as 100 kilowatts of heat load, with each pump module supporting up to 4 racks. With this building block method, your cooling capacity is limitless. More blocks can easily be added to the facility. While air cooling infrastructure requires costly equipment, tedious maintenance, and up to a year to install, the CarnoJet has complete infrastructure built in. All that's required is a roof, power supply, and a water source for your cost-effective data center to be fully operational. Studies have even shown the CarnoJet system to increase server reliability.
Now that I've seen it, it all makes sense. I guess you don't need server fans when you're not pushing air. More direct cooling means less energy used to cool things down. Cooling with liquid also means less equipment to maintain and less equipment that can fail. You're taking the heat in the liquid and warming the floors. So I guess you cool the liquid by letting it warm your feet. Okay, that all makes sense. But what about backups?
Backups? We have backups for the backups. We're 2N plus 1. 2N plus 1 means that when one piece of equipment fails, we have at least one backup ready to go immediately and another on standby. We have no single points of failure. If the hydropower, notice I said nice green hydropower, well, if the hydropower goes down, we don't have one UPS system, we have 2. Having 2 UPSs gives us enough time for the diesel generators to kick in, and if the automatic starters fail, we have time to go and kickstart them. Those generators have 20 hours of fuel. Once the generators are going, our diesel supplier can drop off a fuel tanker here. You know, the kind that delivers fuel to a gas station? The tanker hooks up to our supply line and we have as much fuel as we need. The town had no power for 8 days after a bad storm a few years back. But no worries, if that were to happen again, we are good to go and to keep going. If we have a failure with a pump that moves our liquid around, there's another one in place that kicks in automatically. Your server never feels a hiccup. If Backhoe Bob happens to hit a fiber line down the road, don't get nervous. We have fiber going in opposite directions to keep us online.
Looks like my bank buddy was right about this. Seems like you guys really worked this out.
Yes, ma'am, we did. We have backups for the backups. We even have our own backup water supply, and we can operate offline from the town's sewer system just in case you need to take care of ourselves in time of emergency, if you know what I mean.
Can I ask you one last question?
Absolutely.
What is a Teslagistics anyway? Kind of a crazy name.
No, ma'am, we are just fans of Nikola Tesla. He's a brilliant innovator, so far ahead of his time. Tesla saw things that other people didn't understand or couldn't grasp. Tesla invented a lot of things, like alternating current. three-phased electrical power, the electric motor, robotics, fluorescent light bulbs, and he described the concept of the internet as communications networks when the first radios were just coming online. The guy had hundreds of patents. Tesla looked at the world in a different way, and we kinda think we do too. So how about your data, ma'am? Shall we get you started?
Yep, dunk away, my good man. Dunk away.